Welcome to Rational Alchemy, coming to you from beautiful uptown Longmont here in Colorado. I've got a rather interesting guest with me today. Why do I say interesting? You're going to find out for yourself, because this could turn into the biggest bun fight that's ever been created down here at the Captain's Lounge Studios. Maurae, welcome.
Thank you, Nigel.
Now, we're here for a couple of reasons. We're going to talk about Greenings from Colorado, but first what I'd like to do is, why don't you give us a little introduction and tell us what you do for a living?
Well, I am one of Denver's local comedians.
So you're in politics?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And like most politicians, I get no legitimate votes.
That does happen.
Yeah.
So do you just work Denver, or do you come up here into the North Colorado, or go down south into Colorado Springs?
I go where they pay me.
Oh, good. Good. So you're into prostitution as well, then?
Well, that's what you can call it. I mean, granted, the only tool I use is a microphone. But
Yes. But you sell yourself to whoever's willing to pay.
Absolutely.
And I hope it's lots and lots and lots of money.
Yes, it's even more if I go like this.
Oh, I bet it is.
It is.
I bet it is. Let's talk about Greenings from Colorado, because that's why we're here. And we'll try and keep it sensible-ish.
Greenings is too much fun. I'm so excited about filming this. Honestly, it's like a kindergarten experience for people who aren't used to living with legal marijuana.
So really, this is going to be aimed for probably out-of-staters?
Out-of-staters, anybody who's going to be visiting here. If you want to hit the ski slopes, if you want to hit the breweries, you want to hit the town and see what's going on, see some of these wonderful comedians who will be co-hosting with me, by all means, check out the show, because if you're going to be smoking marijuana in Colorado or any other legal state, this is information you're going to need to have at hand.
Very, very useful. I believe there are some issues about out-of-staters not necessarily buying, but where they can use it.
Well, there's some confusion as to where can you use it. There are different types of dispensaries. Anybody can't just go into any kind of dispensary. You should probably know that up front. And also, one of my favorites is, as soon as they walk into the dispensary, the question they hear first is always indica or sativa. And they're lost right off the bat, because most people don't even know the difference between an indica or a sativa, what benefits there might be, and that sometimes that they can, have hybrids that have the best of both worlds. What they're shopping for, they're going to want to know in advance what sort of effects they're looking for.
Yes, because it will depend on the weed that you buy.
Absolutely.
On what happens next.
Absolutely. Are you going to fall asleep during the movie, or are you going to be wide awake and bugging for more ice cream and popcorn?
Right. And it all depends on that particular strain.
Yes.
That they actually sell you. And of course, I have never ever done marijuana, and I of course never ever been into a dispensary. But when I didn't go into the dispensary, I was amazed at the number of choices that you had. And then, of course, you've got a whole counter full of edibles.
And edibles can respond to a person completely differently than smoking can. The edibles are better for different conditions and for different outcomes than the smoking is. These are all good things to know in advance.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've never really been into edibles, but I mean, do certain edibles work quicker than others?
No,
they're all about the same?
It's all about getting it into your digestive system and having your system take over. The average person is going to start feeling the effects in approximately an hour.
Right.
And it won't happen any sooner than that, no matter how high the concentration is. And if you keep eating it before you feel the effects, you're going to have more effects than you were hoping for.
Yes. In fact, I have heard of that happening already, where people think it's going to hit within 10 to 15 minutes.
No.
And they keep on eating them, and all of a sudden they've taken 4 times the dosage that they really should have taken.
Yes, and then they don't move from the sofa for 10 hours.
Right. Right. Mind you, I can do that without actually having smoked or eaten, but that's another story. So we know you're going to have fellow comedians come on Greenings.
Yes.
Whom else do you hope to get sort of like involved in this here in the studio?
Well, here in the studio, I am going to be bringing a few politicians.
Oh, wonderful.
Some of the people who voted for these laws. Why did they vote for these laws? Are they benefiting their jurisdictions? I am also pretty excited that we're going to be having just some really funny talent coming in.
Right.
Just some of Denver's best comedy. And for those of you who aren't from Colorado, we have some amazing talent in the city. It's remarkable.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Actually, where can people normally see you on a Saturday night? Or is it, again, you're just jumping all over the state?
I jump all over the place. You have to follow me on Facebook if you're going to get my schedule.
There you go. At least we've got a plug-in for you as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So tell me, when are you going to start filming Greenings from Colorado? And are they going to be long episodes, short episodes? How do you hope to get all of this put together?
Well, it needs to be digestible, so I'm hoping to keep the episodes long enough that you can watch it on your phone while you're in the bathroom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
us oldies will be looking for the 20-minute shows, and then the young ones will be looking for the 5-minute shows.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it'll be, quick, digestible, easy information, and on point as far as topic is concerned. So if you want to know about this versus that, you want to know the details about sativas, you'll go to this episode. You want to know the details about medical usage, you'll go to that episode. There will be very clear options.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So tell me, and the question that I had has now jumped straight out of my mind. I'm not quite sure how that happened.
And I didn't even give him any.
I know. I know. What is wrong with me? So a lot of people do visit Colorado for obviously lots of different reasons.
Yes.
Have there been any instances or issues with people that have visited our state and then got a little bit, shall we say, silly with buying too much, not realizing the strength of the marijuana that you can buy here? Do you know of any issues along those lines?
It's usually not an issue per se. It's just something that knocks their socks off. Not necessarily what you would call an issue. It certainly doesn't require an emergency room visit or anything of the like. It's just a matter of eating some ice cream and taking a nap and letting the effects wear off. There have been recorded instances, very few, I think 2, of deaths involving out-of-staters using marijuana. I'm not 100% on that, but we can fact check it if you like. But I think there are 2 instances on record right now of that being the case. Frankly, I'll be honest with you. Anyone who does marijuana can be honest with you on this one. If you were going to kill yourself while you were doing marijuana, you were going to kill yourself anyway. It had nothing to do with the marijuana.
Right.
It's not that kind of a depressant. Mm-hmm. It's more of a, let's just sit here for a while.
That's right. I mean, it's like the old adage, you've never met an angry stoner.
No, well, you can meet an angry stoner, but they're pretty calm even when they're angry.
That's right.
I mean...
It's more upset than angry.
For instance, when I perform to crowds at dab lounges, have you ever been to a dab lounge, Nigel?
No.
They're fun. The crowds are often very quiet, reserved. They'll sit there and not give you the kind of response to jokes that you're used to with an audience. Mm-hmm. But darn it, when you get off stage, they come right up to you. They'll buzz right on up to you and go, oh my God, you're so funny. When you said this, this, and this, and they can repeat word for word everything that you said during your set. They know, they paid closer attention than anything, mm-hmm. than any crowd you're used to having, and yet they still don't give you that response. So it can be a completely different feeling than performing for a bunch of people who are drinking.
Right, right. It was funny, actually, because let's drift away from Greenings for a minute. When I was living in Huntsville, Alabama, I hadn't been in America long. The family hadn't yet moved over here. And they took me to a comedy club in Huntsville, Alabama. And it was the first time I'd been to a comedy club. And the comedian made the mistake of picking on me. This was the biggest mistake this poor comedian had ever made, because I was well-oiled and I was ready to roll. And I did. And I was getting more laughs than he was, poor fellow. Has anything similar ever happened to you along those lines, where you've actually found someone and all of a sudden, holy mackerel, they really are clever in their responses?
No.
No?
No, most of the people who pick on me on stage are doing it out of some form of intimidation. I tell what I call uterine humor.
Okay.
I have a very strong feminine viewpoint behind my jokes, and usually it's only guys who are intimidated by that who try to call me out when I'm on stage. It's pretty rare that anybody else does, and let's be honest, they're not often of the most sophisticated ilk.
This is very, very true.
Yes, I'm okay with hecklers. I call them therapy. Anybody who wants to paint a bullseye on their ass and bend over in front of me is more than welcome to do so at any time. I'm the one with the microphone. Don't forget that.
Yes, well, what this guy in Huntsville didn't realize was I was the one with the theater voice.
Oh, no, I can appreciate that. I, too,
Yes.
have a broken volume knob.
Yes, it can come in so handy.
Amen.
Let's go back to Greenings. So, we're hoping to start filming mid-October.
Very quickly, yes.
Excellent, excellent. Do you know who your first guest is going to be, or are you still mulling that and thinking, you know what, I'm not sure yet?
I have such a wonderfully available pool of talent, not just with regard to the comedians at hand, but also with regard to the actual marijuana personnel out there. We're talking growers, we're talking bud tenders. There is so much talent to be had. It's hard to pick. I've got a top half dozen,
Oh, excellent.
but we're going to have to do like, Miss USA and narrow them down one by one.
Yes, yes. Most excellent. Well, I am really looking forward to seeing episode 1 of Greenings from Colorado. I think this is going to be a great, great show. And what's most important is informative for all of those out-of-staters who sadly live in a state that does not have laws passed. What do you think of Jeff Sessions?
What do I think of Jeff Sessions?
'Cause
I'd like to get him stoned.
Yeah, so would I. So would I. In fact, I'd like to get most of the Republican Party stoned, to be honest with you.
Well, let's be frank. They probably
No,
know how to pass.
I'm talking about biblical stone.
Oh, no. I'm betting that they're just as good at passing a bong as anybody.
I bet they are.
But the bottom line is they need to do it more frequently.
Yes.
And if it was more legal, more available, maybe they would.
Maybe they would. Well, it is actually legal where they are now.
Voting power, people. Well, it's legal where they are for their congressional duties. It's not necessarily in their own home jurisdiction.
But not in their home. Yes, that is very,
And
very
that's
true.
unfortunate. It also probably explains a lot of why they spend so much time in D.C.
Right. Right.
I would.
Oh, I would. I would. In fact, I think they should all personally be body searched on every trip they make on an aeroplane, just in case they go out to break the law. I think this would do an awful lot of good.
Just because you want to see Dianne Feinstein get searched doesn't make that okay.
No. I thought it did. Oh, you have burst my little bubble. I'm really looking forward to seeing show 1. Is there anything else you'd like to cover here right now?
We want your questions. We want to know what you want to know. If there's something that we should be covering on Greenings, Colorado, especially something I haven't mentioned here today, please get a hold of us at the little address at the bottom of your screen here. We want to hear from you. Thanks. Thank you, Nigel.
Thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming to the Captain's Lounge Studios.
Oh, my pleasure.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you. Thank you for a rather interesting off the cuff, full of smoke. Actually, we should use Up in Smoke as our theme song for this, shouldn't we? Yes, we definitely should. Thank you. I'm your host, Nigel Aves. This is another edition of Rational Alchemy signing off. Goodbye.